Welcome, everyone. This is Pine Leaf Needles, and you are listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Andang,
Hey, everybody.
Maven,
Hey, y'all.
Carvette.
At your service and your families.
We have a small cast this week, certainly not anywhere near as large as last week.
Yeah.
And breathe.
Yeah, definitely check out last week's show if you missed it. It was amazing. There were so many awesome guests on the show. I listened back through the whole thing, and it was really good. I'm not complimenting our performance, I'm complimenting our guests. They were awesome, and it was a
How
lot of
many
fun.
hours did it end up being after you added on all
The
the...
fully edited podcast version with the audio files of the
Right.
highlights from the past however many episodes ended up being over 5 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my
It was
goodness.
no.
It broke our previous record was like 3.5 for the audio file. It's still not our longest record date at one single time, so we still haven't broken that, which was set with the Helm's Deep review. But it was a
I'm
very
going to have
long
to
show.
decide. I'm going to have to go on a road trip. I got to figure out somewhere I can drive. Like, it's 2.5 hours away, so I just listen to the thing. That's cool.
That's one way to do it.
I think with that, we'll have to do another review episode soon.
I think you're right, Pineleaf, and that segues in very well because next week is going to be our Update 16 review, assuming that we have Terry Adwin and a lot of other people here, because some of the team hasn't done Update 16 yet, so we want to make sure that we have people who have done it for the review episode, but it's currently scheduled for next week, so hopefully that'll happen.
And they're also scheduled during this coming week is that on Monday, they will be taking down the servers from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. so they could update 16.1.
Not much to it. Glowine commented on it, I think, but aside from that, there's not much news.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's new harp. Or an old harp.
An old harp, yeah, it's going back to the old way it was.
I think Leoline was just harping on it.
Ah.
Let's go into the store sales.
Well, first, let's say how long the downtime's going to be. It's going to be from
I
6
already said
a.m.
it, 6 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Oh, well, it's going to be a long time.
Forever. It feels like forever is what it feels like.
Yeah. But you can definitely check out LOTRO Players during that time.
That'd be a great time. Right there, Maven. You could download the podcast
There you
while
go.
you're waiting for the update.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's
idea.
something to do.
That's a
All
good
right,
idea.
that's a good time to listen to it then. Let's go into our store sales then. And the free sample this week is +5 attack damage for 90 minutes. Use coupon code 77ATK, 1 per account. And Maven, what's on
77
sale?
Oh, what's on sale, you ask? Well, expansions and expansion quests. So I wish I'd waited. Helm's Deep, Rohan, Isengard, Moria, and Mirkwood. I looked at the list and it's like, I've already bought all those. What a bummer. And then skirmishes and instances. So we have, so it's written here, Isengard, Halls of Night, Inn of the Forsaken. Is that all one?
That's actually 3 different separate things.
Right.
All the
Okay, but
Isengard stuff
is it
is
like
one group,
one
Halls of Night is
package?
another,
Oh, okay.
and Forsaken
Okay,
Inn
and
is
Inn of the
another.
Forsaken. Okay, and then Attackadon, Stead at Emonsul, Thievery and Mischief, Defense of the Prancing Pony, Fort of Bruinen, Survival Barrow Dance, Icy Crevasse, and Storm on Methedras. So that's pretty amazing. That's quite a number. Are those all the ones that are
Yeah, those are all the purchase
have to be
skirmishes.
the purchase kind? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we also have kind of like an anticlimactic thing, enhanced XP supply, token of the Hornberg, and mark acquisition boosts.
Hey, those are nice if you're into the grind, the power level.
Definitely. Well, the mark acquisition boosts go very nicely. They pair very well with skirmish sale. So
Now-
There you
you can
go.
package them together.
One recommendation concerning mark acquisition boosts is I suggest that you actually use them after update 16.1 because they are boosting the amount of marks being given out in skirmishes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Although
and do the mark acquisition
listeners
boosts only...
listeners
go
to
ahead.
this podcast will be very hard pressed to not use it after.
Yeah, that's true.
If they're not
Talk
live
to
now,
the live listeners.
yeah.
Our mark acquisition boosts, do they expire in real time or are they just in game time? Because I know like the mark acquisition is usually like what 90 minutes or something, and I mean you never take 90 minutes to run a skirmish.
Whenever you log out, those particular timers stop.
Right.
Yeah,
They
those timers
stop.
stop.
Okay.
The only one
All
that,
right.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the only one that actually times out real time is the horse. That starting horse whistle. That's the only one I know of off the top of my
Okay.
head.
That's
That's
the
a
only one I
real.
can
Okay.
think of.
That's a real 24-hour timer, but everything else is based on game time.
So if I want to get the most out of my mark acquisition boost, I either need to be skirmishing for 90 minutes, or I need to make sure I log out and come right back into a skirmish again when I
Yep.
log back in again. Okay.
Exactement.
Okay.
Or
Oh,
run
do you want me to?
instances that feed marks as rewards too.
Right, that's true. Yeah. Do you want me to talk about the weekend deals?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
let's
yeah.
do it.
Well, sure. So every weekend in June, there are new discounts in the LOTRO store. So the June 5th to June 7th one, which actually, as you just pointed out, is really only pertinent to the live listeners, I will admit, is Morale and Power Potions, Premium Wallet Upgrade, and Regeneration Food. So those of you listening on the podcast, see what you missed.
Ooh, you know what? That premium wallet upgrade is a really good one to get.
Yeah,
too.
that's the only
It
one of
is.
the three that sounds
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
agree.
awesome.
particularly useful.
That's another one of those things I bought at retail because it's like I never knew when it was going to go on sale. So,
But
well.
do keep a lookout for next weekend when we will have another one for
That's right.
June 12th through the
14th.
through the 14th. And who knows what will be on sale next weekend? Maybe something more
That's right.
useful.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it could be like, epic awesome armor or something. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. That was simple. Well, yeah, I do, but not right there. Take it with a grain of salt. How about that?
All right, let's head into the site news for this week. And first off, we have a 1-year VIP code giveaway. Ooh.
1 year? Wow.
That's right, guys. We actually have this for celebration because LOTRO Players actually reached its 2-year anniversary. And so to celebrate, we're giving away 1 year of VIP, which came right next to, right after we had our 5,000 Turbine Point code giveaway, which is also going right now. And there's going to be links to both in the show notes. You just have to leave a comment on either one in response to the article. Just leave a comment there and make sure you have a valid email with it, and you'll be automatically entered in by actually taking your time to enter. So I guess it's not automatic, but you'll be entered. So there you go.
That's
Looks
really
like
cool.
615 people already entered the one for the 5,000 points.
Yeah, we still need about 100 more though to beat DDO, guys. It's getting close. We're down to the wire here. I mean, you only have until June 11th, so Thursday to enter into this. So it's coming close, Pine Leaf. I hope that we can beat DDO. It's gonna be interesting.
Well, I'm not one to take sides on this matter since I am involved in both shows. So let's go to the LOTRO players celebrating 2 years.
Yeah, so I just wanted to take some time to thank the awesome people who visit our site all the time. There's been 400,000 of you over the last 2 years, and it's just amazing that we've had so many people. Also like to give a thanks to our longtime, podcast listeners and all sorts of that stuff. We kind of did that last week, but it's just amazing that we've been going for 2 years at this. It doesn't feel that long, at least to me. And so it's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see where the next year takes us.
That's
All
awesome.
right, then let's go to the poll. And the question is, should Top Gear be gated behind Tier 2 challenge instances? And what are the answers this week?
Well, it was a multiple choice question, Pineleaf. So there was yes with 51%, 90 votes, no with 40%, which is actually kind of close, and other with 9%. And a lot of the others were in the no category. So it was interesting that it was a really neck and neck kind of voting. So I was very surprised by this poll, and a big thanks to Baron Thalion for suggesting this poll this week. And yeah, there were a
Oh,
lot of comments from the other
Yes,
people.
there was some good discussion on that
hmm
one.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, that's usually something guaranteed to bring up a little heat into any discussion board.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. There's definitely the folks that are like, why should I have to do the super hard stuff to get the best gear that I won't be able to do unless I have the super hard stuff? And then there's the back and forth on that, and it gets heated.
Pretty much.
Well, but if you don't plan on doing the super hard stuff, then what do you need the Top Gear for?
Yeah, that's
The
kind
other
of what I
argument.
was thinking, but I can understand the concept of T2 stuff dropping that is really good, and then the T2C stuff would be like the uber epic stuff. But then if you don't need to do anything harder than T2C, then why would you need to gate the best of the best behind T2C?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah,
I think the hardest armor, or, the hardest content should have the biggest reward. It
agreed.
just shouldn't be, there shouldn't be a huge gap between the highest armor and the rest of the other armor. And so that's a really tough balance to reach in any MMO game. It's been, the challenge from the beginning. And but I think LOTRO does a pretty good job overall, keeping people decently happy. Although we hadn't had instances lately until, recently. So it's been kind of hard to tell lately, but it seems that they're moving back in the right direction.
All right. The Nimrodelian tail spinner has another new tale for us this week. The story of Doviel and Meluiel.
Yeah, great as always. His articles are always great.
All right, then let's head into our highlights. Lotro video highlights. Braveheart. Wait, what does Braveheart have to do with Lotro?
Well, because there's bagpipes in the game, it has a lot to do apparently. Somebody pulled
So
out their bagpipe and played a really well done adaptation of the Braveheart theme in Lotro, and I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun to listen to, especially if you're a fan of Braveheart and really like the music.
oh, hi, it's a wonderful thing in me heart to see someone standing on the shores of Loch Evendim playing the pipes.
Did you? I bet you just sprayed all over your computer screen.
No, actually, I've been really, really good about not doing that when I'm completely. I don't know. Maybe I have to wipe that up later.
he, he has a protective screen up whenever he does that.
There you go. Yes, I have
Yeah, he has a
children,
pane of
so
glass that
there's
just lowers for whenever the Karv noises start.
that, and I have children, so there's like an anti-goo shield that's generated through my tower. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Also, we have a new episode of the Family Line, Part 47. They're getting pretty close to Part 50.
Yeah, I still I was saying I couldn't believe how long the series was going when it was like on episode 20. So obviously I still can't believe that it's going.
Well, he has got a master plot that he's taken us through. He knows where this story is going, and he's just writing bits and pieces. We're getting like 2 or 3 pages of the book at a time, so he knows
Well, I
where he
hope he
wants
knows
to
what's
end
going
this.
because I certainly don't.
Yeah,
Well,
well, I mean, I'm very intrigued as to where we're going and how we're playing out, area by area. This whole thing with Bree has got my head in a spin because I'm like, what? Huh? Who? How? Why? I didn't realize that guy was such a jerk. I mean, I don't know, but I can see. I like how, as Tim's writing, he's taking these different characters that we just kind of interact with a little bit in Bree and fleshing out their backstory and completely changing your perception of how that character could be when the NPC has like 4 lines in the game, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, there's a whole lot more that could be going on here, and I can kind of see where someone might take that particular stance, especially the certain NPCs' offspring. Is that vague? Yes. Do you want to know what
Yeah,
I'm
that.
talking about? Yes. Read the stories.
Okay. All right. Let's head into our new player question. And Maven, what's the question for this week?
Well, this came down to us from a tweet that went out. Somebody talking about that they had literally just discovered Destiny points, and when I read that, I'm like, yeah, I did the same thing. It's like I just did it by accident. I happened to have what is it, my wallet open? I forget, and it was like, oh, what's this? And I clicked on it. I'm like, whoa, what's this? So many new players may not know these exist. What are destiny points? How do I find them? And what do I do with them?
Well, if you're a new player, I'm surprised that a new player could run into them because Destiny points
Now, remember that a
are
new player isn't necessarily, I mean, a new player could be, it's a wide definition. So it could be like level 50 even.
okay. When I say new player, I'm talking about someone who's not. All right, I guess I should say anyone who's not VIP would be hard
Ah,
to
okay.
because, as far as I know these days, the only way to get them is to be VIP.
Well, you get them
Oh, okay.
whether you're VIP or not, because I had a
Oh, well,
huge stack
oh,
of
that's
them.
right. You just can't spend them.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
just can't spend them. So you're sitting
I've
there
never
going,
You
been
get
what
not
them,
is
but you
VIP.
can't
this?
spend them?
Yeah, so if you're not
Ah!
VIP, you look down in your wallet when you open it up and you're like, oh, perks, what does this do? Ooh, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. Accelerated experience? Holla, I'm gonna jam that joker. Wait, why is the button gray? It says unlock. What? Actually, right now. No, oh good. I'm still VIP. Okay. But yeah, you have to be VIP to use them. And there's a lot of really cool upgrades in there. Most of them are just kind of hobby present type stuff. But you can use up to 5 enhanced XP boosters, like I think per week. So sometimes when I'm power leveling, I'll just flip that screen open and smash it 5 times to get a nice healthy chunk of double XP and then cruise on down the way. And you gain destiny points by level, I believe.
It's
That
yes,
is true. You
you
also
gain
gain
Destiny
them,
points every time you level once you reach level 10.
right, and also
Oh.
certain session plays will give them, and some other things as well.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, because I
Um,
know that there were some reasons to do certain things over and over to get Destiny points, but
right. And
Now, is there a
also,
good strategy for using them? I mean, is there some of the features that you have, some of the choices are better than others, or do you save them to use them for particular, like, should I be using them when I go into like, an on-level skirmish, say,
Oh,
versus just landscape stuff?
I'll have to tell you that the only thing that I generally use them for is for experience boosters.
yeah,
Oh, you
they,
do?
And
Okay.
yeah, and what you do is you have it's sort of a timer there. There's once you use one, there it's the one that you just used is on a 24-hour cooldown. Now, if you use five at once, only one gets cooled down for it because essentially is if you have a number of uses that you've used every 24 hours, it decreases the number of uses you have used up by one. So you could
Huh.
rather complicated. So the idea there is it effectively Karv said you could use them about 5 week or something like this. It's more like 5 or 5 days or something like this, but pretty
okay.
close
Okay.
on that matter is
Okay.
because you could use five very quickly all at once, but that means you'd be a lot slower pace and you'd be using one per day after that.
Ah, okay, I get it. So it's
right,
up
but
to 5 uses,
they do
but
stack is
yeah,
another thing,
they
and
do
it
stack.
does use the rested XP first. So when you're
It uses your
VIP,
rested XP first.
yeah, so when you're VIP, that adds on to the end, and so especially on my lore master back in the early levels when I was needing to really level when I was just doing the epic story on one of my characters, that came in really came in handy. Um, Another thing Destiny points used to be used to was PvP stuff. And this was true quite a ways after free to play, probably about a year or two. Destiny points were still the main currency for advancement of your creep classes and also for buying armor on Freep's side. And then they changed it to another system so they wouldn't have to balance Destiny points. And they've kind of phased Destiny points quite a ways out of the game. And they're really just now perks for VIPs. They used to be a
Yeah.
lot more
Hmm.
back before.
Yeah, they did that change back when they started finding ways of allowing non non VIPs to enter into the Moors.
Right, but non-VIPs could still use those Destiny points on their creep characters for over a year, actually. So I don't know why they made the
No,
switch,
let's see.
but it was
I,
interesting.
were they allowed into the Moors as creeps?
Yeah,
Yeah, you could be a non-VIP getting in as a creep.
Just how much I know
You could
about
be
the
a
you
Moors.
still can.
you could be a freever. Yeah, you could totally go right in. I
You
say
just
freever,
can't
but
go
it's a
in
griever.
on you just can't go in on the good guys' side. Which is why Brannick says that he can't play PvP as a free-to-play player because he's not wanting to play the bad guy's side. He's only wanting to play the good guy's side.
Right. Well, I knew that was the state today. I just didn't know couldn't remember what the state was back when they went into free play.
Right when they went free-to-play, it wasn't the case, but very, very soon after they made that change.
All right then. Anything else about Destiny points?
I think that was enough. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Just note that a lot of the perks that you have in Destiny points are similar to things that you could buy in the store, get from Hobbit Presents, or anything else
Right.
like that. And in fact, that was the idea. Is probably why they made spending Destiny points to be VIP only, because it was their way of monetizing those particular items, because it's very hard to charge people for buying store experience point if you could just grab them through
Yeah.
using Destiny points.
Yeah, I mean, you do see a lot of these buffs as items that drop from Hobbit presents. Things like, extra morale, extra power. There's some mark buffs in here. There's, armor, item experience boosts, things like that.
All right, let's go into our week in Lotro. And Carvette, what have you been up to?
Well, I almost got to do a lot of stuff this week,
Woo!
actually.
Almost.
Almost. Yeah, it was a week of almost for me. I didn't realize that until I sat down to start thinking about it. But really, I almost made it to Heligod with Mythgard, but we ended up with too many people on the 12-man raid, so me and a
That was
couple
such a
other folks.
bummer.
Yeah, well, we'll do another time. We'll do another time. But me and a couple other folks decided to drop out, and we ended up running like Halls of Night and a couple other things as three mans, and just kind of working on our crew. So that was a lot of fun. And then I almost made it to the top of the Grand Stairs in Moria to where the Grand Stairs entrance is, but I fell off because I misjudged the length of the platform that I was running on. There's quite a few gaps up there. um, Almost got all of my crafters, yeah. All of my crafters up to the Supreme Mastery tier in terms of crafting, but I ran out of ore, so that's probably the reason why I was running around in the Red Horde Loans exploring, looking for ore when I fell off the Grand Stair. But, yeah, so almost.
You had an almost week.
Yeah, almost. Good things, though. This has been a lot of fun.
All right,
So-
Maven, what have you been up to?
Well, among other things, I did the first 3 wings of Heligrad with Mythgard Adventures with Corey and didn't die once, which may sound more impressive than it actually was, because I was a level 100 and I mean we were playing at like 58, so it wasn't that impressive, But I mean it sounds good, and it's a riot to be with Corey because he's such a completionist. That it's like when we were in the Giants wing, we had missed a Drake, so after we killed the boss, he's like, "We can't leave yet. We have to go back and get the Drake." I'm like, "Oh my goodness." Anyway, but that was good. So we did those 3 wings. So it was the first time I had done Heligrad, so it was really fun to do. I shook Glordriel, my hunter, my level 100, out of her PTSD, went back and took care of the Epic Nazgul quest. That was what had defeated her, and she was so depressed because she couldn't kill the Nazgul. With help from some of my Lonely Mountain Band friends, and then we ended up doing it 3
Black
times
Breath.
because, yeah, that must be what it was, I guess. And we did it 3 times because that particular quest is one that I found out that people use to farm essences. So we did it for 3 times. That was pretty fun. And then I ran around Central Gondor and I died a bunch because being a level 100 in a level 100 zone and being a hunter, I died a whole bunch. But she's fine with that. I mean, she got over the Nazgul thing, so we're good.
All right then. Now, concerning Heligrad, does that mean Corey Olsen's going to try to find some way of doing the 24-player wing?
Yeah, well, optimist that he is, he said, we can do the 24-man the next time, which of course is in 4 weeks because we're doing skirmishing with you the next time. But it's like, well, yeah, except we only had 12 people with this, and we have to find 12 more people that have done all 3 wings. So hopefully we can.
I'll just say that if you do it at 50 with the 12 and the big guns of
It's
100s,
doable?
totally
Yeah.
doable. Yeah,
is it?
you,
Okay.
you do want to make sure you have at least 2 tanks because
That are high level
yeah,
tanks.
whichever the Gauntlord is, when that fight starts, He splits into 4 copies of himself,
Oh,
and you have
jeez.
to burn each one down. So it's good to have 2 tanks to be able to split them, because otherwise you'll
Right.
just get mauled.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's
So,
some cool mechanics in that one, but we can
Yeah.
talk through it.
yeah, the plan is to do the 24-man the next time, and
Yeah,
we
I'll
shall
totally
see.
try to be on that one. That's fun.
So, and I'm up for running through the other 3 wings anytime anybody wants to. So, just let
All
me know.
right then. Ending, what were you up to?
Well, I filmed a lot more Middle Earth Lore Episode 1 scenes. Went all over the Shire, and I'm gonna end up going all over the Shire a bunch more, I'm sure. Um, Also did a lot of managerial stuff for Middle Earth Lore, looking over scripts, making sure things get done on time, and all that fun stuff. And things are going pretty well, so we're still on schedule for hopefully, well, we've pushed back our release date, but we're still on schedule for our new date, which is hopefully the end of June or early July. So it's exciting.
All right
Awesome.
then. And this week on my Arkenstone Bjorning, I quested with Terry Adwin over in Evendim. So we were doing the quest done in Tinandir and also at Osferod, and also doing those quests that were part of the line to leads to the turtle raid. Not raid. It's not a raid. It's a turtle instance that eventually gets you to see the reforging.
Yeah, that's cool.
Of Narsil.
Cool.
Yes, and on Gladden, my Bjorning there completed Volume 2, Book 4. And on my Laurelin Warden, I completed the quest in Lassanark in Gondor. Now, earlier I talked about doing the quest leading up to the reforging of Aragorn's sword. And speaking of forging Aragorn's sword, in our news beyond Lotro, we have a man-at-arms special with the making of Aragorn's sword.
That's right, Pineleaf. This was awesome because not only did they make Narsil like fully made, they then broke it.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
reforged it the real right way, not the Peter Jackson way, and made it into Arendelle, the Flame of the West. And this is just awesome as a lore person and as somebody that really likes that storyline to see them actually do this in real life. It's really cool to watch. I really enjoyed it.
And on top
Though
of
I
that,
do wonder
go
about their
ahead.
choice of using 19th century technology instead of, say, an earlier time period.
Well, yes, but it was still, I mean, even doing it like that far back, it was still much more work than they could have done today
Yeah,
Well,
with all the
yeah.
stuff.
most of the stuff they do in that show, they're using all kind of modern equipment and grinders and all kind of fancy stuff. So the fact that they were challenged to do it with the older gear made it that much more difficult for them. Though I do question the use of the female Sauron for the breaking of Narsil. That was interesting. It's a cool set of armor, but it definitely was okay.
Yeah, well, they had done some of that, created some of that stuff in the past, and so that's
Yeah.
why they had that be the thing.
No, gotcha.
Right, let's head into our skirmish of the week. And this week, our topic are eagles. Yes, what are the pros and cons of the eagles through the various implementations? And this week, Maven, what are you on this week?
I'm pro the books.
You are pro the books. And
That's right.
Ending, what are you doing?
Well, I'm in the process of writing the other thing I'm doing, but I'm doing the pro films and con games.
All right, and Carvette?
I'm doing con games. Pro, no, pro.
No,
Let me try that again. Con film, pro games.
All right,
we
and
got we
I
got
will
an
do
easy
the
pine leaf.
con.
We only need to do one. Yeah,
And I'll be doing the
that's fine.
con for the books. So let us
Okay.
begin with Maven.
Yes.
Well, my angle on the pro for the books is I'm a real animal person. I mean, I respect animals as their own beings as opposed to being sort of like extensions of humans. And I appreciate the fact that Tolkien makes that point, especially in The Hobbit. He does. He talked about it when the eagles first show up, and Gandalf, I think, has this sort of instructive session with Bilbo about they're neither on the side of good nor evil. They are just themselves, and they have their own motivations and their own reasons for doing things. Um, I don't think that is as clear in the trilogy as it is in The Hobbit, which I think can lead to a lot of confusion about the never-ending questions about why don't the Eagles do this or do that, or why didn't the Eagles just take him to Mordor and all that stuff. And I know Corey has tried to sort of address this numerous times. I mean, but the thing is, I think, given what Tolkien said in The Hobbit, that the Eagles are their own agents. They did what they did as favors to Gandalf, not because of Sauron was evil and evil needed to be defeated. They have their own worldview. They have their own like I said, their own motivations for doing things. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that Tolkien did that, and I think that's really why I'm pro the books. I mean, I understand sort of the challenges that brings up, but I just appreciate the fact that he made them their own agents and not just extensions of the elves and men in Middle Earth.
Right. I thought you were going to. You saw the Brothers Workshop one on where they explain why the eagles aren't used.
Yeah, the
I've seen a
Sauron
couple of them.
magnifying glass.
I've seen a few reasons why and all of them were hilarious that I saw.
Yes.
And the flying cave trolls that come up and that are catapulted.
In fact,
Oh
I think
my.
I've seen a cartoon too. I've seen a comic that somebody did about it. I mean, I think it's pretty. And actually, in the Winter Festival, if you go backstage, if you get selected to be one of the actors to go backstage, Ronald Swale is back there. Tolkien's alter ego. And if you talk to him, if you click on him, he says, "Oh, hello, I came down to see my play be put on." And then if you click on him again, he'll say something else. And then one of the things he clicks on is, "Gee, why couldn't the Eagles just take them?" No, that won't work. So I thought that was pretty funny. Anyway, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right then. All right. My cons for the books has to do with the emphasis through much of the Lord of the Rings on 3 times the Eagles carried Gandalf, or 3 times pays all, and 3 is the charm. 3 times, this is the 3rd time I carried you. The one at Isengard, the one from the peak of above Moria, and once right after certain climatic events within the storyline. And all this to talk about this 3 times he was carried, but forgetting that the eagle carried Gandalf 4 times, not 3 times. It's 4 times because he also carried him in The Hobbit. So
But
what
was it the
is
same
all this
eagle?
talk about 3 times, pace
But
for all and all that stuff when he carried him 4 times?
the same? Was it the same eagle in The Hobbit? Might not have been the same eagle. Do
Yes,
we know if it was the
Gwaihir's the
same
Wind
eagle?
Lord.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he got named. I couldn't remember if he got named in The Hobbit.
Yes, Gwaihir was definitely named in The Hobbit.
Well, so he has short-term memory loss or long-term memory. I don't know. He can only remember he can only remember back so far. He is an eagle afterwards, a little bird brain. So,
Clearly, Frodo and Sam didn't consult Bilbo when they were writing that part of the book, Pineleaf.
that's right. That's right.
I guess so. So, ending, what are the advantages of the film?
Well, I think that the films do a fairly good job on making the Eagles feel like a climax, making it feel like that ultimate moment where it's just so much awesome all condensed into one part. They do make it feel a little bit like a taxi service, true, but I feel like that they make it feel just you're still always really surprised, and it's still a really cool moment when it happens in the films, and I really enjoy when that happens.
The Orning Eagle Mounts, yes.
Well, that's another topic. I was thinking more Lord of
Yeah,
the Rings,
really.
but yes.
All right, and Corvette, the cons?
Corvette.
Karv might be muted.
Earth to
Corvette
Karv.
was muted.
There.
Hi. Yeah.
You're doing my
Background
trick.
noise.
That's my
Yes,
trick.
I was like, wait a second. No, well, the thing that gets me about the films is unless you're really a fan of the lore and have read the books and you know the backstory of the Eagles, you don't really get the impression that the Eagles aren't a deus ex machina, if you will. They
Yeah.
aren't like a, oh my gosh, what just happened there? Dude, those are awesome allies. We should totally use them to take the ring to Mordor. No, it doesn't work that way, you know, and that's I think the thing that the movies unfortunately given the time frame can't really explain that well is that you can't just explain, yo man, the Eagles are like free agents. They just don't come at your whistle. They don't have like an eagle summoning moth service that just hangs out in Middle Earth waiting for Gandalf to give him a ride. It just doesn't work that way. There's a there's a couple parodies I've seen. One in particular where there's some guys that are trapped on top of a tower and they see an eagle flying and they jump off the tower and land on the eagle and the eagle's like, "Hey, what are you doing? What? It's an eagle. You see me and think you can just hop on for a ride? Bugger off, you know." And so
That
it's
sounds like a scene out of the original Hitchhiker's Guide series.
I
It
don't know, it might have
does.
been. It was actually VeggieTales that I was thinking of. But I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of parodies that kind of mock the whole idea that the Eagles are there for ride service when, oh, hey, dude, we're stuck. We got nothing else better to do. I know. We'll use the Eagles.
Well,
So,
I'm also, and I got to add the moth thing in the films was just, I don't, I grant you, I don't know how else to do it, but you know, we used to talk about it in Rails of the Dark. It's like, first of all, a moth, how can a moth make it to the elevation where an eagle is? Also, like in The Hobbit, the time it takes for him to tell the moth to get the eagles and the time the eagles show up. I mean, we said the eagles had to be like sitting in the next tree over.
Well, to be fair, there is no proof that when Gandalf is talking to the moth, that it is actually going to call the eagles.
Oh, come on.
We never see the
In The
moth
Hobbit?
interact with the eagles. For all we know, Gandalf could just be like telling the moth his story so he doesn't forget the next time he dies and comes back. It's just like his personal video recorder that he's carrying around, and the camera just happened to show up that time.
nice.
You're being very generous.
I'm being very generous.
Very generous here.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean, they were a little, I don't know. They seemed to work better in the book than they did in the movies, I thought.
I
But
think so too. But I think the
You know,
movies still did a
yeah.
good job for that medium.
they did as well as they could, I think.
Right.
Like I say, you
Yeah.
know, if it wasn't going to be a moth, what was it going to be? So, okay. I mean, but I still was a little bit like, oh, please.
I mean, to be fair, like if you were watching a film and you just randomly see like an eagle just happening to randomly fly over Orthanc, that would look probably equally as weird as
Yeah.
as the
Well,
moth.
you know, I mean, he could have had, like, Gandalf could have pulled some firework out of his sleeve or something, you know, and set him off. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
because
kidding. I'm
Saruman
just
would
kidding.
never see that coming.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, Saruman would
you do
have
have
divested him of his fireworks.
well, you do have the ability to then do the epic shot where Gandalf is like basically going neener 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 Sauron, I know something you don't know, and then flinging himself off the
And then
tower.
flings
So
It
Yeah.
makes
off,
Gandalf
yeah.
seem more impressive, for sure.
yeah, which makes it more impressive. So you do have that option.
Now
That's
in the
true,
Hobbit
that's true.
films, not so much,
That's
but
true.
in the Lord of the Rings, it definitely makes Gandalf seem more impressive.
Yeah, that's true.
And I gotta say, entering into our premiere of the Silmarillion film project last night, and entering into this whole idea of how you would adapt Tolkien's work to film, I'm probably going to end up being a lot more sympathetic
Ah,
to
yeah, that would make sense.
stuff. Earth problematic. I mean, I can see him coming on me. Just one episode, and I can see him coming already. So, but anyway, still, I was a little bit,
Cool.
little, yeah, I really didn't extend my belief to hit them all.
all right. Then let's go into the games. Carvette.
Well, what I like about the games is the games give you the ability to interact with the Eagles on a level where it's more like your heroic character interacts with an Eagle, and you get to do things with the Eagles that you don't see, you know, in the books. You realize that these are another force, and they are pretty much neutral, but you get to do things to help them, and in response, because you help them, they help you. Couple of examples, one of them being the Iobar instance, where, you know, some giants have somehow managed to be really cool and snatch an eagle egg, and it's your job to go retrieve it. Um, the scene at the end of that's pretty cool when you win. You talk to Gwei here and whatnot. And then there's another one in the Great River, which I won't go too much into detail in case you haven't been there. But that one's also really cool. I got a title out of that, and I wore it, I think, on my character for quite a while. But I like the way that Turbine has been able to take the Eagles and put them in to
Yeah, I
places
agree.
where you get to run into them, and it's not like this. Oh my gosh! If this hadn't happened, this horrible battle would have gone absolutely wrong. It's oh wow! Look at what I get to do. This is really neat.
That's right.
All right. Yep.
And big,
And
really big. And
Well, they're very big.
well, seeing that I usually did it with a Hobbit, it really looked big.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
even
really
even on a full sized as big as you can go man guardian, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, they're bigger than Ents, I want to say, as far as height goes.
Yeah,
They are, aren't they? Yeah.
they are great eagles for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is probably why the Lore Master pet is known as a lesser great eagle.
Oh, sure.
A
Way
great eagle.
lesser.
Yeah.
All right. Ending. What is your con for the games?
Yes, well, Pineleaf, there is one problem with Lotro, as far as the Eagles go.
And what's that?
It's the fact that we can't ride them. Are you kidding? We get to see this loading screen and we can't actually hop on the back of them. That's we
I
like
know.
it's implied that we get to ride on them,
tease.
but we don't get to act. Ugh.
You think at least
That was the
Lore
worst
Masters do
tease
it. You
in
know,
the
they
game when they
don't-
show you a
Lore
loading
Masters
screen
do
with you
it.
flying in with an eagle.
I mean, I'd take even like
Uh.
a 5 seconds of just being able to like see my character on the back in the in-game world. I don't need to control anything. I don't need anything like that. I just want to have my character be shown on the back of an eagle. That would be so cool.
I know. I was thinking, I know. But I guess,
Yes.
probably they won't do it for pretty much the same reasons that Karv was talking about. You
Well,
know?
and I think just technical reasons, it would be probably hard for Lotro to do.
I've always got the
Since
impression that
To render.
Lotro wants to limit our vision on the third dimension.
right, because over the next hill, there's just an empty grassy field.
Yeah.
Like honestly, that's what's over across a mountain chain in some places is just dev created stuff that they haven't created yet. Middle Earth doesn't go on forever, and that's why they have to limit where you can go. And there's a place in Mirkwood you can go that you can actually get your character stuck possibly forever. That I found during beta that they still haven't closed up, where you can go to just this completely empty like Mirkwood terrain out in the distance, and that's definitely a place you're not supposed to go.
Dun, dun, dun.
So they definitely want to limit height because it would cause them to have to make a lot more data in places where they're not, where you're not supposed to
Yeah.
see normally. So
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else have any other comments concerning the Eagles?
they're awesome.
They're
I
awesome.
was gonna-
Yeah.
They are awesome.
Right. We currently have 11 supporters on Patreon. If you would like to join this illustrious fellowship of players and help support Lotro players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even a guest spot here at Lotro Players News. And how far are we from the next goal, Andy?
Well, we are $11 from the Guild Wars Heroic Edition, which is or maybe it's the Deluxe Edition. It's whichever one's the more expensive version of Guild Wars that has a lot of extra goodies and things like that. We will be doing a giveaway in $11 if we can get there.
All right.
So,
Is that Guild
pretty
Wars or
close.
Guild Wars 2?
Guild Wars 2, yes.
Okay. Just wanted that to be clear. All right. And this week we did not receive any iTunes reviews, but we do have a featured comment. And Maven, could you please read that?
Sure. Jenny left a comment on last week's show. Whoop! Congratulations, Lotro players. Thanks to all the lovely people in the chat who answered my question about names, too. I was so interested to hear from everyone. And I realized that Pineleaf pronounces era,
Alright.
Arai,
Something like
All
that.
right, better than I do, according to the Cinder site that I use. Hashtag pronunciation points for pine leaf.
That's to help to compensate for the negative ones I get for some of the members of this cast.
You got one right, Pine Leaf. There you go.
Earthara.
Lexicon also left a comment on last week's show. Congrats on all of those who dedicated their time to the podcast. I'm sure you've loved the opportunity to build lifelong friendships. All the best at your adventures together.
Life.
Fantastic.
Good
And
you guys
ending, what does
stuck with
Sparge
me.
say?
Yes, well, Pine Leaf Sparge says, to be honest, your site and the podcasts, and let's not forget the videos, are one of the biggest reasons I came back to Lotro. Many, many years more to come, hopefully. Well, that's awesome. That's cool that
That's
you
very
came back
awesome.
to Lotro. That's awesome.
And we also have one email. And Carvette, could you please read that?
I sure can. Immortan writes, I must be honest, I don't really use the forums that much when searching, but when searching on YouTube or soloing Sammy three-man instances at level 100, I have found some amazing videos which lend me to the Lotro forums. Any Guardian looking to unleash the pure potential of the class must check out these threads in the Guardian class Zone's Guide to Survivability and DPS and Aerither's Guardian Guide. Both guides provide images of allies, class trait tree setup, gear, and links to videos on how it's done. That is really useful no matter what the level. I've been a tank for 2 years, and I wish I had this guide when I started as it has changed my gaming experience. Also, I would like to let you all know how much I appreciate all the hard work you put in and all the joy you bring to all of us that love Lotro, so keep it up. Long live Lotro and the Lotro players. Immortan, level 100 Guardian, proud captain of Nomad in Evernight.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, there are a lot of good guides on the forums, and thanks for your kind words.
Who's this Aerither?
Having read both of those, they are very,
Earhart.
very, very good. Era something or other.
Yeah, I
They're
don't know
very
who
good.
Aerithard is, Pine Leaf, but I think you know that Erahard is one of our hosts, so maybe they're related.
That's right.
Good guides. I'll say that.
Let's go to the contact us. If you'd like to email us, you could send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter. The Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, Lotro Players @LotroPlayers, Andang @PVMP_Andang, Arithert @Arithert, Carvette @CarvetteLP, Lily Kate @LilyKateBuggins, Maven @TolkienMaven, Pineleaf @PineleafNeedles, and Terry Adwin @Terry Adwin. The Players Alliance has 3 live shows every single week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. Join us for our live shows at lotroplayers.com/live. Thank you everyone for listening. This is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.